Hello, I'm Genesis, and welcome to an exclusive YouTube video from this channel. It's only on YouTube, but if you want to see some of my other types of content, check out bygirls4girls.net, and there is an extensive amount of things you can do there, so go check it out. Today's video will be about fantasy books, and I love fantasy books, but if you're just trying to get into fantasy books and you want, some fantasy books on the shorter end of the spectrum, like 400 pages, for a lot of people that may not seem short, but this amount was hard to find, and some of these I'm not even sure if they're considered pure fantasy. Well, they are fantasy. They've got fantasy elements. No dystopian, just fantasy. 400-page fantasies. One is over, 30 pages over, but I thought you needed it because I love that book so much. But we're gonna get into it because I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, so the first book we're going to get into is Every Heart a Doorway. Personally, how much fantasy is this truly? I don't know, because it's not told in, well, let me tell you about this book. So basically, this book is when kids, the thing about this book is when kids come back from the worlds that they visited, the magical, mystical, fairy tale world, they come back to the world after, they come back to Earth, after the world doesn't need them anymore. And it's basically the kids that happens to. This school would be perfect for kids like Alice in Wonderland, Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, or any of the Provincies from Narnia. Yeah, so that's basically the premise to this book. So in that sense, it is very fantastical. Alice in Wonderland. I feel like this is fantasy, though was it a dream? Anyway, this book, I would assume it's fantasy, especially since Alice went to another world, Wonderland. So, I'm sure you know what this book is about. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And the title basically speaks for itself. So that book. Okay, so the next one is, well, I believe this one is fantasy, though. It is called urban fantasy, which, if you don't know what urban fantasy is, it's a type of fantasy that's it's still in our world. Yeah, but that is Artemis Fowl by Ian Colfer. Oh, Alice in Wonderland is from Lewis Carroll, and Every Heart a Doorway is by Shannon McGuire. But this one is by Ian Colfer. Artemis Fowl, this brilliant boy that uses his brilliance for criminal activities. And basically, he finds himself kidnapping a fairy, Captain Holly Short, from the Leprechaun unit, and it goes from there. I mean, yeah. This book is 270 pages. This is all extra stuff. And these are the new covers, semi-new. They came out this year, but at the bottom of all of the pages, you can't see it because it's severely overexposed. But it's a bunch of codes that you can uncode, though if you just look it up, somebody has decoded it for you. But so far, I'm not gonna go back and tell you, but I just forgot. But those are under 400 pages. The next one is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This book is on the cusps of 400. Well, it's on 406, but that's after the acknowledgement, so it's actually 404. I'm sure you can read an extra 4 pages. But Throne of Glass, I personally love this series. There's a type of people that don't like this series, and there's a type of people that do, and I'm that type of person. I really love Selena Sardothian. Yeah, it's just I really love it. My favorite book, it's being hidden by these books, but I think it's Queen of Shadows. That's my favorite one. But yeah, Throne of Glass, I love it. Basically about this girl, Selena Sardothian, who is in a different world from ours. So high fantasy, I guess. And basically, Selena Sardothian is an assassin, but she is currently being held prisoner at this prison, and basically the prince takes her out and makes her the king's champion, and she has to compete to become the king's champion, really, but with a bunch of other guys and stuff. I really enjoy it all the time. Okay, so the next one is kind of a classic amongst the fantasy genre, and that is The Hobbit by J.R. Tolkien. This one is 300 pages on the dot, so less than 400 pages. This one is basically about the adventures of Bilbo Baggins, and he's a hobbit. He is very comfortable in his suburban, casual, lazy, comfortable, ambitious life. But then the wizard Gandalf comes on his doorstep with an entourage and is like, let me take you on an adventure to go raid the treasures of Smaug the Magnificent. And along his journeys, he encounters both a magic ring and the monster Gollum. The Hobbit is a classic amongst us. Cinder! This one is apparently 387 pages. Basically a retelling of Cinderella, and Cinderella in this book, it's a cyborg, and it's pretty cool if I do dare say that myself. Yeah, she's a cyborg, and read it if you want to learn more. The next book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm really much in the corner right here, but whatever. This book, 370 pages, and it's basically about this girl Jude. She's a human, and her parents are murdered, and she and her two sisters are stolen away to live in the treacherous high court of Faerie. 10 years later, Jude wants nothing more than to belong there, despite her mortality. But many of the Fae despise humans, especially Prince Carden, the youngest and wickedest of the son of the High King. To win a place at the court, you must defy him and face the consequences. That's all I'm going to read. Read the rest or buy it. The Cruel Prince. The next one is a classic amongst YA readers, I guess, and that is Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. Bro, I love Percy so much. It's crazy, really. I love him. This book is 37 pages long. Not 37, oh my. 375 pages long. And it's basically about Percy. He's a demigod. Just him and his quests and adventures. And in this book, Zeus is blaming him for stealing his lightning bolt. And it's just so good. You'll fall in love with Percy. You'll fall in love with Grover. You'll fall in love with Annabeth. You'll fall in love with everyone you encounter in this book, except for some people. So read them. Read it. It's so much fun. I love it. It's set in Manhattan. Well, it's set in a lot of places, but yeah. Okay, so the next book is A Land of Stories by The Wishing Spell by Chris The Land of Stories, A Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. This book is over 400 pages, but it is 438 pages long from back to front, and yeah, I know this one's over 400 pages, but I just thought I would mention it. If you love colorful, crazy, awesome stories that will have you loving the main characters and loving everything about it, read it. Because, I mean, it's got such easy writing, especially for a beginner to fantasy, because it is considered middle grade. So they're not going to give kids adult fantasy to read. So this one is so good. I'm not done with this series yet, but I am done with this book, and I've given it 5 stars, and I love it so much. You fall in love with the characters. Everything I said is true. I love it. So just read that extra 38 pages. It won't kill you. Plus, you need to start building up your stamina, especially if you're just starting out. Because, bro, 438 is nothing compared to, like, Brandon Sanderson's work, which is an average of 1,000 pages, I'm sure. But the next one and the last one is Narnia. One of my favorite books of all time. I mean, The Chronicles of Narnia is a series, but I'm currently showing you The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is one of the more popular ones, probably the most popular one, since most people, when they hear about Narnia, is like, oh, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I'm like, not only. There's still like 6 more after, between this one, but this book has 189 pages, so definitely a short one if you can see this. And I love the Pevensies. If you have read Narnia, then you would know that it doesn't only follow the Pevensies in the entire Chronicles. It follows a lot of different people. But, you know, the Pevensies are kind of a steady steady drip in this series, and I love it. I love this. I love Narnia. Oh, the lighting just turned off because it's dead. But I think that's a good place to stop because I am done. Hopefully you can read all these books because reading is so much fun, especially if you're getting into it. I'm tired. I've been filming for a while. So I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye.